Vomit
Shohei
on a
Ohtani.
sweater, bomb spaghetti.
You
That's
knew
a
that
rap
one.
song. That's a rap song I know from Eminem.
There you go.
All right, good.
Hello and welcome back to Dodger Debate. I'm Jack Harris, the LA Times Dodger beat writer, along with our soon-to-be on a plane columnists, Bill Plaschke and Dylan Hernández. Let's play a game of good news, bad news for the Dodgers. The good news is they won Game 2 of the World Series tonight, 4-2 over the New York Yankees. They have a 2-game lead in this best-of-7 as things go to New York for Game 3 on Monday. The bad news, obviously, Shohei Ohtani left the game in the 7th inning with what Dave Roberts said was a shoulder subluxation.
Is that a real word?
I mean, the word he used was a little more of a broken English trying to put together the...
I believe he said it was sublux. That's not a word.
Well, I'm not sure. It might be. I was doing a lot of Google searching about what a subluxation is, which, thanks to the Cleveland Clinic, is basically a partial dislocation of the shoulder. Dave Roberts tried to put a positive spin on this. He said, while they won't know the full severity of the injury and Ohtani's status for the rest of the World Series until he goes for an MRI, which is expected to either happen later tonight or tomorrow on the off day, immediate tests that they did on Ohtani's shoulder after the game came back as positive as they could be. He said the strength in the shoulder was great. He said the range of motion was good. He said the team was encouraged, and when he was asked how they might handle his absence, he completely shut down the question and said, my mind's not there. I'm expecting him in the lineup in Game 3. What do you guys make of this? How significant is this, and how much does it change the dynamic of a series in which almost everything else has gone right for the Dodgers?
Well, I had to subluxate my column. I turned in a first edition column saying the Dodgers would win the series in New York. There was going to be a parade here on Friday. And I had changed the column once I found out that he hurt, his shoulder was hurting. I think it changes things. I mean, I think the Dodgers are still a much better team than the Yankees. They're better in every area. They've outclassed them. They've outplayed them. I don't think it's even close. But Ohtani gives this team a sense of invincibility, a sense of, even though he hasn't played this series so well, he gives them a sense of, he's like their armor. And to lose that, I don't know what happens. Dylan?
Well, but here's the thing, though, right? I mean, the Yankees' answer to Ohtani, Aaron Judge, might as well not be playing. I mean, he's, 1 for 9 in this series, 6 strikeouts?
Correct.
He's been a zero. He's arguably the worst player who's played in this series, right? I mean, he's been completely useless.
It's terrible.
Ohtani was 1 for 8 himself.
Right.
with
Well,
a walk.
one big at bat there, but so I think that, to me, this isn't a question of are the Dodgers going to win this series? I still expect them to run over these guys. To me, the question is kind of more, and Teoscar Hernández, when I was down there, said something along the lines, personally, I don't want him to miss these games at the end, right? And this has been, I mean, we've been, Jack, you and I were in Korea, right, when this gambling scandal broke, and
We were in Korea.
this is at every stage of this season, Ohtani has been the story, right? And so to me, it's just kind of weird, we get here and he might be reduced to the role of spectator, Well, it's kind of chilling a little bit was right on the Fox broadcast, it kind of went silent a little bit, and you can hear, they picked up the conversation between Ohtani and Pasam Nakajima, right? And Ohtani knew right away, hey, it's a shoulder, right? And Nakajima asked him, did it come off, basically? And he's like, yeah, I think so, So he knew immediately that something was wrong. And to me, the question comes now, right? He gets to New York, and say he can kind of swing a bat, right? We've seen, Matt Kemp ran into a wall head first here.
This whole thing reminded me of Cody Bellinger in 2020 when he dislocated his shoulder and tore his labrum and still played.
You can play, right? And to me, it's going to be kind of interesting. Let's say it's at a point where, okay, you can play, but this might hurt you for next year, right? Maybe this is going to require procedure if this gets any worse. What does Ohtani choose? Because this is clearly...
It's his non-pitching shoulder, by the way.
This is clearly one of his life goals is to, win a World Series, right? And it's about, I go back, Jack, I was asking you about star players and kind of not being on the field when it's, right? It's, the best I could come up with was a soccer one, so I'm sorry, everybody, but Cristiano Ronaldo in the Euros, right? He got hurt. He wasn't there when they won, kind of, and everybody kind of pretended, right? Oh yeah, you were a big part of it, right? You talked to everybody and got them all hyped up before the penalty shootout, but the reality he wasn't there. And it feels kind of like almost yeah, he was part of it, but and look, obviously he's the MVP of the season, but him not being there at the end to me would be a little bit weird.
You don't think Ohtani would pull a Max Scherzer and not play, do you? To try to protect himself?
No, I think again, I don't think so unless like it's going to be a case of, hey, you're risking surgery, right, and you might miss next year or a bulk of next year. Then to me, then the calculus starts to change because I think at that point he has to start thinking about, okay, is this going to affect my Hall of Fame chances, right? I mean, he came here somewhat relatively late. I do think this is a guy who's legacy obsessed, right? And so I do think, again, playing in a clinching game of the World Series is one of those things on that list. But if it's going to compromise other goals, right? And I mean, he can come back and he's going to be pitching next year. I mean, theoretically, he should be even better, right? He's going to have a bigger impact next year. They could win again. And so to me, that's going to be kind of interesting, is like how he decides to kind of play this out.
Oh, that was some rich speculation right there. The Hall of Fame.
Are the Dodgers
resume.
locks? Are they still locks without him?
The way I look at this is they should still win this series.
Yes.
And if they don't win this series, it's not going to be because Shohei Ohtani, missed whatever the last 5 games. Like if they don't win the series from this position, it means that the pitching capitulated on him. It means that everybody else in the lineup started to struggle. It means other things went wrong, the kind of stuff that we haven't seen happen to this team in this postseason.
Well, but that is, at the same time, though, that is why you get a guy of that caliber, right? I mean, if we go back to Game 1 yesterday, when they're down in the 8th inning, I mean, he and Mookie Betts, like, willed that run into existence, basically, right? And so, to me, that's kind of the thing. I agree with you that something catastrophically wrong went,
right,
but he's there to get you out of those catastrophic
I think
moments.
not having him there could cost them. I think it could hurt them down the stretch. The way the other guys get pitched, it changes the way the other team looks at him. It changes their confidence.
Right. And that's what I think that the cost of if he misses the rest of the series is that if other things start going wrong, you no longer have that guy who, at a lot of different points in the regular season when things would start going wrong, would go on a tear, would hit a huge home run, would start stealing bases, and would do things to kind of flip the momentum. That's, to me, the part that you miss. Because, again, like the double yesterday was huge and getting to third base and scoring, but the Dodgers have won these games with him doing very little in his other at-bats by being able to rely on guys, tonight, Teoscar Hernandez hitting a big home run, Tommy Edman continuing to tear up October.
They've been one hit from losing both these games.
Well, that's true. And the 9th inning got Harry on him, but the fact that you've gotten to this place where you're up 2-0 in the series, where you've won both of your games against the Yankees' 2 best starting pitchers. Again, like if the Dodgers lose the series, it's not going to be because they don't have Ohtani. But where I agree with you guys is yes, if things start going bad and you don't have him to rely on, other guys are going to have to step up. I like the way you put it, like him being their armor in some ways. Like if the Yankees punch back in the series, can they handle that, and can other guys step up? And I think it's, kind of, if he doesn't play, like the last big test of this Dodger season in which they've had to overcome all this other adversity, right? They overcame Mookie Betts' broken hand. They overcame Freddie Freeman being in and out of the lineup and playing through a sprained ankle. They've, to this point, overcome all of the starting pitching injuries.
But Ohtani has not been hurt.
Had.
They haven't overcome him not being there.
Right, and that might be the biggest test of all for them, and I think will, again, does change the dynamic of things a little bit, even if, I think we're all still sitting here feeling pretty confident that the Dodgers, are still positioned to get 2 more wins and win the World Series.
Because to me, here's the thing, right, is I think what we've seen over the last 2 days, the starting pitching gap that we thought was there isn't as big if it exists at all. I mean, Flaherty I thought was great yesterday, right? And he more or less kind of matched, Cole. And right, and the Dodgers have a huge edge in bullpen. I think they have a huge edge in lineup depth. I just think they're the better team, like with or without him. Again, I think it's going to take a lot for things to kind of get to that point where again, they're going to need Ohtani to come in, stop the floodgates.
I got to ask you all, did you all like Ice Tray? You come in rapping and start the game? Ice Cube, yeah. Ice Cube, yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
What shape were Was the ice tray, little molds.
I don't know everything. Okay? I'm not Mr. Music Culture.
What was interesting about that whole sequence was like this place was pretty hyped up at the start of tonight, coming off of what happened with Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam in Game 1. That whole performance, I mean, like, first pitch was supposed to be at 5:08, and it said Ice Cube's walking out of like the center field wall with this impromptu concert that was probably one of the loudest moments of the night. And that energy basically continued. Yeah, I mean, the energy like just continued. There was a lull for a minute when Juan Soto hit the home run to tie the game, but then you have the back-to-back home runs from Teoscar Hernandez and Freddie Freeman, and the whole good vibes of that continued all the way up until Ohtani's injury, which was the only other time tonight, and really in the first couple games of the series where this place got very dead.
Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp threw out the first pitch. Where's Kirk Gibson? Somebody call Kirk Gibson and get him here for Game 6.
Is there going to be a Game 6?
I think there might be now. I think with Ohtani out, there might be.
No.
No.
Parade on Friday.
Parade on Friday.
Parade on Friday. Are you covering it, Plasch? I heard you're covering it.
I don't do parades.
I heard
I've done so many parades in my time.
I heard you are now.
I've done so many parades in my life. I'm done with parades. Parades are horrible to
You
cover.
have to come see if decoys on the parade float.
It's been so long since there's been a proper LA parade. Unless you want to count the Rams, which,
Oh, the Rams got so drunk. That was great.
And then you weren't there. You stuck me with it.
I watched. That's right. I watched.
Dude, it was so hot and nobody was there and it was just sad and
That's right. I stuck you
those
with it.
guys
That's
were
right.
just all trashed. It was just. But you know, one thing I thought was interesting
You got
today.
this one too.
Yeah, I kind of figured
He's
that.
giving you dibs on it.
Yeah.
How kind of him.
Well, I know my look. I know my role at the company. I do what Plaschke doesn't want to do.
Oh, that's not right.
But Plaschke collects his playoff bonus.
Right, his blue bucks. One thing was, I thought,
my Dodger buck.
You could redeem those at the parade, maybe.
you're casting dollars. You know, one thing I thought was interesting today. Today we saw the beginning of like the rest of Freddie Freeman's life, right? If they assuming they go on to win this thing, we've heard our share of Freddie chants over the years, but
Never louder than today.
now not only louder, now they're doing it after every pitch.
It is funny how in a season where he was kind of the forgotten guy in some ways of the star players on this team, like suddenly is the face of this run.
He's got to step up big now.
Swing.
He's got to handle
that's
the load
true
without
too. Him
Ohtani.
and Mookie Betts. I mean, I think that's why it was good to see Teoscar Hernandez have as good of a game as he did tonight. Mookie Betts seemed pretty locked in. I mean, this is why, to put a bow on the Ohtani thing, this Dodger team has enough to handle 4 or 5 games without him if it goes that far. Maybe just 2 games without him if they can play well. But yeah, I mean, you're like one big Aaron Judge game away from suddenly the Yankees having momentum.
That guy's never gonna hit.
He's the worst. He's the worst player I've seen this year. Is Aaron Judge, the worst single player? He's embarrassing. He's humiliating.
What happened?
I keep thinking how great he is. I wait to see. He's supposed to be this giant, this tremendous player of the year, and he's terrible.
You think he just like went blind?
He's so easy to strike out.
I don't think he went blind. But I mean,
I'm kind of fascinated. Like I don't know like the sport nearly well enough to like explain.
I
Bill, he didn't go blind. He still walks to the plate.
He just has a really good sense of direction.
He plays center field.
Right. He just has. You can tell by the sound. He's like a bat. He uses sonar to track down
He clearly
balls.
can't see the ball though when he's batting.
I can tell you that Aaron Boone's propaganda answer did not include a lack of eyesight as being a.
Well, look what happened to Kike. Put on glasses and do bad. Maybe he's gonna watch this video and turn it into Reggie Jackson.
If that does happen, we'll be there and we'll talk about it. We'll wait and see kind of how the next couple days go with Ohtani. The Dodgers have a workout tomorrow. We'll see if there's more information by then. If not, in a series, like I said earlier, where everything has kind of gone the Dodgers' way so far, they go to New York with a 2-game lead, but also a big question kind of looming over the roster now with the health of Shohei
Vomit on a
Ohtani.
sweater, bomb spaghetti.
Yeah,
That's a rap song. That's a rap song I know from Eminem.
There you go.
All right, good.
You and Obama know the lyrics, I guess, now, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't see that?
No.
He was at a rally in Detroit, and Eminem introduced him, and Obama did the whole first verse.
That's a great song.
It is a good song. What do you think, Jack?
Great song.
I don't think Ice Trey's any good, but Eminem's
Ice Cube.
Eminem,
No, Ice Trey. I mean,
Ice Cube, comedic actor
he was in Boys in the Neighborhood.
in the hood.
The Hood. Oh.
Jesus, oh my God.
21.
Let's go. Let's
Jump
go to New York.
Avenue.
Let's go to New York.
All right, we'll talk to you guys in a couple days. I think Mark's got enough edits to close this video with now.